What is going on, you guys? My name is Nick, and welcome back to the channel, and this is my review for my most anticipated movie of this year, The Northman. Now, I'm going to burst the bubble already, and I'm going to say it is not my favorite movie of the year. That spot still goes to Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then The Batman, and then The Northman, I think. And that's totally okay for a movie that I was most excited about to not be my favorite movie of the year. That just means it hit me a little different, and it's going to hit you guys a little different. But with that said, The Northman, it was so much fun the entire time. I was glued to the screen. There are a lot of dead moments in this movie, and they only feel like dead moments because I swear to God, I swear, it is because the trailer pitched us a different movie than what we got. The trailer, it felt like a studio created it, and that it was meant to get people in the seats, right? Because Robert Eggers' films are not studio films. They are not these big action set pieces that the trailer kind of made it out to be. His films are very intimate, very character driven. They're very art house. They're very, I don't want to say pretentious, but they kind of are. There is definitely more style than substance in this movie. But the trailer made it seem to be that it was going to be this big Braveheart conquest to take over the kingdom movie. And in reality, 90% of this movie takes place on a farm where Alexander Skarsgård's Almeth character is a slave a majority of the movie. And yes, there is a shit ton of blood and gore, but not nearly on the amount or level that I thought there was going to be because of the way that the trailer was pitching it to us. It looked like the entire movie was going to be Alexander Skarsgård and Anya Taylor-Joy making this big conquest to just take over this entire island, going village to village and eventually reaching the kingdom that oversees it all. But that's not at all what happens. And honestly, it was jarring at first, but once I kind of started to adjust to the story that was presented in front of me and I was able to kind of set my expectations at the door, I really enjoyed it. But I can totally understand why some people won't. Like my dad, who saw it with me, he wasn't a big fan of it. He thought it was slow. It was more style over substance, and I totally get that. I 100% understand that sentiment about this movie. But I do think it has a lot to do with the marketing of this movie. It just marketed it as this big action-adventure movie, but in reality, it's a very intimate story. It's almost like you're reading a book, like you're reading a fable. Performances all around were amazing, but the three main standouts for me were Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, and Claes Bane, I believe is how you say his name. He played Dracula in the recent Netflix adaptation, and he plays Fjolnir in this movie, and he is fucking amazing. Like I thought he was good in Dracula, but man, this movie, he's so good. He's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite character outside of Alexander's character. Which, speaking of Alexander Skarsgård, man, every time he had a scene of pure rage, you felt it in your seat. You felt it in the theater, and there are moments where I just wanted to stand up and like fucking, scream back with him because the energy was there. There's a scene around a bonfire, which you see in the trailer, where Alexander Skarsgård's character is just going full wolf mode, pretty much, just trying to be a wolf, trying to embody what that feels like and what they sound like, and his eyes rolled to the back of his head, almost like he's being possessed, like a wolf is taking over his body, and it is insane. Do I think he's going to get nominated for an Oscar? Probably not. There's not that many... there's not that many Oscar moments in this movie, I would say. Nicole Kidman was my third standout of the movie. I was a little worried because I don't think I've seen her in a movie in this specific time period before. I could be totally wrong. Correct me in the comment section if I am. But I was very interested to see how her and Ethan Hawke would handle their roles in this specific time period, and I swear to you, I didn't even see Nicole Kidman on the screen. They just slide right into their roles, and I guess that's what that's what their job is. They're Academy level performers. But man, this movie was so mesmerizing. I want to see it again so badly, but it's not what you think it's gonna be. So when you go in to see The Northman, please set your expectations at the door and take it in for what it is. Because I'm telling you, if you go in expecting this big, bombastic, bloody mess of a conquest revenge movie, you're going to get that. You're going to get bits and pieces of that. But a majority of the film isn't that. It's not. But that's totally okay, because at the end of the day, Robert Eggers, and I believe the writer, his co-writer, I believe it was Sajan, I believe is how you say his name. They were able to create a story that was so compelling that you didn't even need that blood and action that the trailer really promised. I think there's something to be said about that, you know? I do agree with my dad in some aspects that there are parts during this movie where it definitely is more style over substance, especially anytime Valhalla is being shown on screen. Or there's pretty much this, like, tree of life sequence that kind of plays throughout the movie, kind of showing almost family tree, I guess, is kind of what it is. But to a lot of viewers out there, including me, it was a little jarring. It's almost like, you know, like, Robert, did you really need to have that in there? Like, did that really elevate the film at all? And I don't really think it did. But I do understand what he was trying to go for and convey with those few scenes. It's just, to the modern audience that's going to be paying to see this movie that isn't really into art house, you know, deeper allegory, metaphorical films, they're not really going to know what's going on. They're not really going to care. So far, the audience reactions that I've read are fairly positive, and people are really enjoying this movie. It's just, man, I'm really concerned about that trailer and, like, all the clips that they've put out of the movie. It's pretty much been the best parts of the movie that they've put out, which is very worrisome. Because if you see everything that you want to see online or already in the trailer, then what's the point of even going to see the movie? But thankfully, the climax alone of this movie makes the price of admission worth it. But at the end of the day, guys, go into this movie without any expectations and take it for what it is. Because I swear to you, you will have a better time. If you set those clips that you saw on YouTube aside, you will have a much better time with this movie. Overall, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I wish I liked it more. I really do. But hey, it's okay. Not every movie is going to be a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 5. It's okay. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means the world to me. And thank you.